Oh, it's a tough one, this. Hello guys, and welcome back to another episode of Look Past Limits.
After driving the Icefields Parkway last week, and this week's episode we'll be exploring the JASPER National Park. We're on our way to Maligne Lake from Jasper, and the views are just incredible. Have a look at this. Just stopped on the side of the road and there is a elk. Do you see him? Oh wow. A huge animal.
That is a really beautiful animal.
Just turned around and there is another one. Another elk standing in the river having a bath. Look at the size of that guy. Wow. Look at him in compared to the car.
So we have heard that Jasper is the place to see elk. Well, here you go. Just at the side of the road. Not bothered at all that we're here. Amazing. So we've been in Jasper for a few days already, but we had a really busy schedule before getting here and we were in need of a little bit of a rest, so we booked ourselves onto a nice campsite just as we entered Jasper, and we've been there for the last couple of days, but we didn't film anything in all that time. We have already been into Jasper town as well. It's different from the other mountain towns in the Rockies here, but it is really nice, so we'll take you round the town later in this episode. But for now,
we're at Maligne Lake today. We have arrived earlier and we just had a dinner with this beautiful view, and one of the reasons we came here is that we are planning to do a hike tomorrow morning.
the hike is...
It's up there, we think. So tomorrow we'll be going up to that peak. It's called Opal Peak.
We're just getting organised for tomorrow's hike here. Vendy's making lunch, we're packing rucksacks, and there's a young elk came to see us. Oh, it's a cold one this morning.
Good morning guys. Like Steve said, it's a cold one. Car was showing 6 degrees this morning. It's about 7 o'clock. We've already had breakfast, moved the car, and we're ready to set off.
So Opal Hills route today. We might make a slight variation on it and go up to a peak that's not on this map, but that's the plan. Wave goodbye to Ed, the only car in the car park this morning.
Proper bear country here as well, so we need to be talking or singing, especially early morning, to let bears know that we're coming. Brum, 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 zaspíváme medvědům, hlavu zadek, nohu schovej do brlohu, brum, brum, brum.
Oh, it's a tough one, this. It's just straight uphill.
We're just about to get out of the forest. The light's beautiful. It's only just getting up and over this hill, so it's lighting up the view for us.
Starting to get some views of where we came from. Still a long way to go though.
For a view. Want to go snowboarding? Steve looking at the top, seeing where we still to go.
We've made it. So, what about this for some views from the top? Bit of a steep drop down there though. Good to get a seat. There's a box here beside the cairn at the top, some sort of geocache type idea. We'll have a look in it and see what's here. Ah, a logbook for everybody who's been here. We'll have a read at that whilst we're eating lunch and add our addition to it. What else is here? Something about wildlife, hand sanitizer, coffee, top of champagne, lighter, plaster, pen, we'll keep that for writing the diary. We've not actually done many hikes here where you can look back and see the whole way that you've come, but if you look down there right at this edge of the lake you can see some buildings maybe. That's where Ed is parked, and then we walked up through the forest here and then we came out onto this area which is sort of alpine meadow type idea, and the map that we saw at the car park when we left, it actually cut off and just done a loop here and went back down. But we wanted to try and get up to this peak, so we came off the marked trail and made our way through all the scree up here, and we joined this ridge about here, And this is where you saw us flying the drone, walking across this ridge. And then from here we've had a super steep climb, scrambling up scree round here, zigzagging our way up. Obviously on the camera it doesn't look very steep, but it was bloody steep. And that's us at the top, ready for some lunch.
Absolutely everywhere.
It's a really cool logbook. Lots of happy people been up here, no wonder. And there's our entry with a bit of self-promotion and a link to the YouTube channel. So, time to try and make our way down this horrible scree field.
This is my scree protection outfit if I slip. More beautiful flowers here. Maybe even a Scottish thistle here. If the terrain's good enough, sometimes we're trying to run on the way down just to save the knees, and also it's boring because you've already been up there, you've seen it all, now you just need to get back. So we're always wishing for a parachute, so if we run it gets us down faster.
So now that we're back onto the proper path, we can take our shoes off and empty out all the stones from the scree.
This is back at the car park. Ed's not alone anymore. Many other cars joined him.
A bit busier now.
We're back. It was awesome. The views from the top just make up for it. Let us get these shoes off now though. So that was 6 hours in total with this stop for the lunch up the top, and I think it was about 10 kilometers and 1,100 elevation. So that's the stats.
Time to go in the lake now, surely. 3, 2, 1. Oh, that's better.
Feeling a bit fresher?
Oh, that's awesome. So, top of that mountain, that's where we've just been. No wonder we needed a dive in the lake. So after the hike yesterday, we stayed at the Overflow campground just outside the Jasper because all the campsites in Jasper were full. But today we're back in town and we've remembered to bring the camera this time, so we'll take you around the town and have a look.
You dreamed it'd be, ending up here, ending up with me. Well, you could have gone anywhere, been anyone. Well, you stole my heart like a thief on the run. For taking chances, but you're taking a chance on me. And now we're building bridges as far as the eye can see. And I never thought I'd find anything close to all that I knew you would be.
A huge railway running through the centre of a mountain town is such a strange thing for us. You would never get this in a mountain town in Europe. Even if you look around, the town is actually built on a flat and the mountains can all be seen in the distance. But for us, we're just never getting over this, that the town is not actually feeling like it's in the mountains. And this is just something that we do need to get used to in Canada because this is how all their mountain towns are. But for us in Europe, we think of a mountain town as actually being in the mountains, if you understand that at all.
Jasper is one of the two main towns in the Rockies. It's on the north part of Icefields Parkway, and unlike Banff, it's actually had people living here. It's a normal town. It's not just been purposely built for tourism like Banff was, but it's similar in the way that they are both situated right in the national park. So with it being one of the two biggest places in the whole of Rockies, Jasper is obviously really busy. It's also got loads of services, everything you could possibly need you can find here. So what surprised me the most out of everything is the amount of wildlife what we have seen, like so close to the town. We've been staying in a couple campgrounds just next to the town basically in Jasper, and we've seen elk on a regular basis. We only drove a little bit, 10 minutes from here. We saw a black bear, then we saw another black bear on the way back. So yeah, it's just amazing that somewhere like this could have so much wildlife still.
So yeah, we've had a really awesome time here in Jasper. We've not even scratched the surface of things that you could possibly do. There's just so much to do round about. The actual town itself is nice, but it's probably not one of the most amazing places that we've ever been to. Banff town was probably nicer, but the best bit about it here is the amount of things that you can do round about. I think if we were to pick one place on the whole trip that we could come back to, if we could only come to one place for a holiday, or if you could only come to one place as a holiday, Jasper would be an awesome place to base yourself. The town's got everything that you could need, and the national park has just got so much to offer. The amount of activities that you can do round about, and the nature and the landscape, and like Vendy said, the wildlife, and being so close to the Icefields Parkway, it's just, yeah, there's so much going on here. We have enjoyed just having some time off here actually, but if we weren't in such a rush to get moving, we could stay about here for a long time when there's so much to do. But as always, we've got more places to see, so it's goodbye Jasper for now, and I think we're on the move again. Good morning guys, just wanted to show you where we stayed last night. Nothing special, but it was just the first pull out that we could find after we came out of the Jasper National Park. So we're now actually back in BC. It was pitch black when we got here last night, so we didn't film anything, we just went straight to sleep. And we've had breakfast this morning and we're now heading to Mount Robson.
I dream in color, you're black and white. And I prefer the country, your city lights. But we made our bed and it feels just right.
We're at Mount Robson Provincial Park Visitor Centre just now. One of the things we wanted to do in the area was the part of a Bergs Lake trail, but we just found out that most of the trail has been washed away at flooding this spring, so no such luck.
So there he is, that's Mount Robson there, the highest mountain in Canada, and we can only see the bottom half of him because of all the clouds. So we'll see if the clouds clear later on today, maybe we'll get a better view. But for now, because the trail's closed that we wanted to do, we're going to just head back up the road a bit here towards Jasper, and there's a trail to some waterfalls that we're going to go and have a look at.
Overlander Falls.
Overlander Falls.
Seems like we're not far away. Let's go and see the Overlander Falls.
So we were just reading down there at the falls where the name comes from of Overlander Falls, and apparently in 1862 there was a group of 175 men and one woman came from Ontario heading to central British Columbia in search of newly discovered gold fields, and they regrouped here. And in that time the normal way to get from Ontario to the west coast was by sea. You had to travel all the way to the southern tip of South America and all the way back up the other side. It's absolutely crazy to think that that was the only way of getting here in 1862. It wasn't that long ago.
Crazy times.
So anyway, they were one of the first groups of people to try and cross the country overland, and they regrouped here, and then hence why the name is now called Overlander Falls. So there you go. So here we are in Mount Robson now, and we always knew that when we got to this point there was going to be a decision to be made as to where we head to next. So if you watched a few episodes ago when we were in Penticton and Osoyoos, we showed you this map, and at that point we were round about here. We started the journey here and we had made our way round to here. We had a proposed route for this area, and this now is the route that we took. So through Kootenay and across to the Rockies and right up through Rockies, and that's what you've watched in the last few episodes. Now at the top of the Rockies here we were always going to have three options. So one option, which we originally thought was going to be the one at the start of the trip, was to head north to Alaska. We ended up quickly ruling that out. The time it took us to get to here, we realised that if we did continue north to Alaska, we would not have much time. We would end up getting there and summer would be over, and that would be the end of the trip because it would be too cold to continue living in the truck. And so we just don't have enough time to get to Alaska and back the way that we would like to do it. We would just spend all the time driving. So we ruled out that option basically. And if we do go to Alaska, we'll have to wait till next season. So the next option from here was to head west, was to take the Prince Rupert Road to come all the way out here to Prince Rupert, and from here we would then get a ferry down here through the Inside Passage and to Port Hardy, which is at the north of Vancouver Island. This would be an awesome route, and this is what we thought we would do next. However, after checking the weather, this whole region for the next couple of weeks has just got really poor weather. It's also going to be a really long, probably not the most exciting drive out to here, and the ferry's super expensive. It would also take us to the north of Vancouver Island, and at the moment what we want to do next is really the south of Vancouver Island. So in the end we've decided to rule out that option now as well. We would still like to sail the Inside Passage, but maybe on a sailboat rather than a ferry. So for now that option's ruled out, which leaves us with the last option, which is head straight back to Vancouver to then do what we really want to do next on this trip. So we're going to make the journey back down the roads that we've not came on. They're probably not going to be the most exciting roads, and that's the reason that we didn't use them to get across to here. But we're going to head down through Valemount, Clearwater, down to Kamloops, and then eventually back to Vancouver. We might have some stops on the way that we need to do, and then when we get to here, our next plan is to do Sunshine Coast and the east side of Vancouver Island as a loop with connecting ferries, and then head over to the west side of Vancouver Island. So that's the final decision. Out of the 3 routes, we've decided to just shoot straight back across, and the next episode we're going to be doing this.
So there's always pros and cons to all these options, and we always need to just make a decision of what we think is going to be the best. But I'm very happy with it, because the main reason why we want to head straight back to the coast is that we just want to catch the sunshine. The summer will be over before we know it, and we just really want to see the Sunshine Coast and Vancouver Island in the sunshine. So we're going to go for it and try to get there as soon as possible.
But we've got one stop on the way that we need to make, don't we?
Yeah, on the way down we're actually going to be very close to the US border, heading back to Vancouver. And one thing I still need to do is activate my work visa here in Canada. So I've entered earlier as a tourist just to save some time, because we knew that in the summer we were not going to be working. But now, getting into autumn, when the summer is over, we will be looking for a job, and I will need my work permit then. So, and I need to go to the border for it because I need to flagpole. So I'm gonna enter US and come back on my working holiday visa activated.
We hope.
We hope.
It might be a complicated process, but that's the plan.
Try it.
Shoot back down to Vancouver, and whilst we're there, we'll try one of these border crossings. There's a few along here, and hopefully we'll manage to get Vendy a work permit, and then we're on the move again. So, see you guys again in the next episode in Sunshine Coast.
We'll let you know how we got on the journey.
See you again in the next episode.